Hello and welcome back, adventurers. Together we have seen a lot of cruelty, ambition and suffering. But today we are walking in a completely different domain. In the Wildlands, man is not welcome. This is a realm of beasts and untouched wilderness, free from humanity's taming hand. The Wildlands teem with life, from the ubiquitous buzzing black flies to fantastic animals that can be found nowhere else in Ravenloft. Those lucky few who have traveled in the Wildlands and have come out alive rarely talk about anything else but flies and heat. The island of the Wildlands encompasses a 30-mile diameter section of jungle, savanna and marsh. The cycles of birth, life and death has been accelerated by the powers of Ravenloft. There are many creatures that live here. Except for the fly, every animal can speak the language of man, the hairless ape, but few do. The elephants dwell in the south, farthest from the king crocodile, the lord of the domain. By the shores of the Great Lake there lies their graveyard. Here the bones of elephants walk around, mindless of their surroundings. At night the phantom elephants gaze at the moon and lift their trunks in horror. Those alive ignore their graveyard, except in death, when they stagger toward it and greet their dead brethren. It is said that the bones of the dead turn to silver and their tusks turn to gold. More than one human has come to the graveyard to test this legend. Some have compared these humans to vultures, but the truth is that vultures are smarter than they, for vultures prosper from their scavenging. In the east part of the Wildlands is the Savannah, the rich, hissing grass. Heat and wind are everywhere here. The lions claim this land as their own, hunting gazelle and antelope, and sunning themselves when they are resting. They are not alone, for tigers also dwell here. They were not native to the Wildlands in the time before the mists, but they were here when the lions arrived, and jealously guarded their territory, leading to fights between the great cats. The vultures are happy these days, though there have been times when the lions and tigers have attacked the vultures instead of each other, as they defend the honor of their dead. But there is little honor in the Wildlands, and death is quite plentiful. In the middle of the domain is a great plateau. It is the best place if one wants to avoid crocodiles. It is ruled by the gorillas, the most fearless of all the beasts of the Wildlands, save King Crocodile himself. The gorillas are gentle with their own kind, but brutal with all the others. They are more intelligent than the apes outside of Ravenloft, but also more proud, and they enjoy fighting. They welcome humans only because they expect them to prove themselves in combat. Also native to the plateau are the monkeys, most notably the chimpanzees. These creatures are renowned for their cleverness. They fear the gorillas, the panthers and the crocodiles, but this does not stop them from playing jokes on them. Unfortunately, Ravenloft has darkened the hearts of many of these apes, and there is often war between tribes, slavery, and abominations that some sages has thought only humans were capable of. The monkeys fear humans less than the other creatures. They love thrilling discourse and games, and enjoy confusing with acrobatics, practical jokes, and forced chases. To the chimpanzees, this chase game is the most fun, and they often steal things that others hold dear in the hopes of starting one. Monkeys also see humans as a race with the power to defeat the tyrannical king crocodile. The northern section of the Wildlands has many rivers that often flood the jungle. The flooded lands are swamps where the crocodiles roam. In the center of the swamp, in a large, marshy lake, lives King Crocodile. Here he feeds, either from hunting or from tributes given by other terrified creatures. Because of his insatiable hunger, at night the land is filled with phantom animals. There are jackals giving frightful howls, fierce baboons yelping and screaming at each other, and ghastly vultures constantly encircling the dead things scattered about. They are enslaved to King Crocodile, the Deathbringer, and will attack on his command. But how did he come to rule, you ask? Well, he was the largest, most wicked crocodile that ever was. When he hatched from his accursed egg, he devoured his parents and his brethren. So evil did this crocodile become that the jungle could not endure him. Monkeys died at the sight of him, the water turned poisonous as he swam in it. He was a crocodile whom those of his species hated for his cruelty. He was much bigger than the others, and his hide was much thicker and his teeth much sharper. He preyed on his own kind as cruelly as his own kinsfolk did upon the once playful monkeys. Finally, so great was the evil of this crocodile that all of the animals of the jungle gathered together and debated how to destroy him. The jungle screamed with the noises of the arguing. Lions roared, elephants trumpeted, gorillas bellowed, and flies buzzed. they decided that the only legendary hairless apes had the cunning and might to defeat the king crocodile. And they sent a parrot to go to the jungle and invite them to kill their nemesis. The hairless apes came, but chose not to battle King Crocodile. Instead, they felled the trees and burned the jungle, turning it in places to ash and ruin. They hunted the animals for their meat and their hides, and sometimes just for the thrill of the hunt. And then the jungle became full of woe, and the animals declared that the hairless apes were worse than King Crocodile. So they went to the king and begged him to eat the hairless apes and save them. So the king crocodile agreed to help, but only if the power of each animal was his. And the creatures of the jungle, one by one, came to the king and gave him their powers, and he grew in strength and swiftness and cunning. Only the wise python refused to give King Crocodile his powers. Of all the animals, only the fly was refused when he came, for the crocodile felt it was too undignified to take a gift from a fly. Then King Crocodile came forth from his swamp, crowned in power and exulting in evil. He came down upon the hairless apes with the speed of a cheetah, with the ferocity of a rhino, and with the cunning of a monkey. He devoured the humans, every man, woman, and child. As he felt their warm blood in his mouth, he laughed and cried aloud, and this cry was terrifying to hear. At last, the hairless apes were dead. The assembled creatures called out to King Crocodile to give back their powers, but the crocodile laughed and hunted them. But even the voracious appetite of a creature like the king crocodile has its limits, and he sat in the swamp and digested his meal while the other animals hid. All except the python. The king gloated at the python's lack of strength, but the great snake finally came to deliver his gift, the gift of prophecy. He foretold that the king crocodile will die from a hand of something he considered beneath his dignity. The wise python has gathered his brethren and departed the jungle. As he looked back upon King Crocodile's swamp, he saw a great mist rise everywhere, enveloping grasslands, covering the great forest. The earth shook, and the wise python, looking from beyond the mists, could see a great rift form, like a huge maw with crocodile teeth. Then the jungle was swallowed whole, and the crocodile and all of the ones who had aided him had discovered themselves in a new land. But the land was evil and preserved the crocodile from time and increased his strength. The crocodile now preys on the creatures at will, and their lives are filled with great terror, even when he is asleep. Thank you so much for your time, patient listeners. There's only fear and hunger in the Wildlands, and woe to those who do not understand this when they trek across its domain. So please, be careful while crossing the mists.